In this world, too many people are losing their life quietly, watching others win, scrolling through achievements, comparing timelines, reacting to noise that was never meant for them. Here's the uncomfortable question. What if your distraction is the very thing blocking your destiny? Imagine waking up calm, unmoved, no longer explaining yourself, no longer chasing approval. Buddhist teachings reveal a hidden truth in Buddhism. When you focus on yourself, your power returns. When the mind is still, clarity arises. This is not ego. It is learning to put yourself first, focus on yourself, not others, value yourself, and master your emotions. What if silence is the move that changes everything? And a powerful bonus lesson waits at the end. 1. Attention is your most expensive currency. Notice how tired you feel, not in the body, but in the mind. This exhaustion does not come from work alone. It comes from constant reaction. Every explanation, every comparison, every silent defense drains something unseen. The Buddha observed that suffering begins where attention is misplaced. Energy follows attention, and most people spend theirs everywhere except where life is actually happening. Ask yourself gently, where does your energy disappear every day? Attention is your most expensive currency, yet it is given away cheaply. To opinions that do not matter, to people who do not listen, to imagined futures and remembered failures. Each reaction is a withdrawal from your inner account. And when the account is empty, peace feels impossible, no matter how successful life appears from the outside. Look closely at modern living. Endless scrolling, quiet comparison, defending your choices in your head long after the conversation ends. This is not awareness, it is leakage. You are watering fields that will never feed you. Attention is like water. Where it flows, life grows, or floods. When scattered, it drowns clarity. When directed, it nourishes strength. Pause here. Notice where your attention rests right now. Gently bring it back to your breath, not to escape the world, but to return to yourself. This small act is powerful. Each time you reclaim attention, you reclaim choice. You stop living on emotional autopilot. You begin responding instead of reacting. Practically, discipline your attention like a sacred resource. Stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. Stop comparing your path to lives you only see in fragments. Stop defending decisions that already feel right in your chest. Ask, before every reaction, does this deserve my energy? Most things do not. Here is the quiet turning point few expect. When you withdraw attention from noise, silence grows. And in that silence, focus sharpens, creativity returns, calm strengthens. People notice, not because you demand attention, but because your presence is no longer diluted. This is not indifference, it is mastery. Who receives your attention without earning it? Old fears, other people's expectations, imaginary judgments. Now imagine redirecting that energy toward discipline, growth, and inner clarity. Watch what begins to grow when you reclaim it. A steady mind, a grounded heart, a life that no longer feels rushed or reactive. As 2026 approaches, make this commitment quietly. Spend your attention with intention. Guard it like your breath. Focus on yourself without guilt. Stay silent without fear. Build a strong, disciplined mindset with calm, positive thoughts. Remember this as you walk forward. When you stop feeding what drains you, what truly matters, finally, has room to grow. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My focus brings everything." 2. Focus is not selfish, it is self-responsibility. You were taught that focusing on yourself is selfish, that giving everyone else your time, energy, and attention is a virtue. Yet notice the quiet cost. When you abandon yourself to meet every expectation, something within you tightens. Resentment does not arrive loudly, it grows in silence. Buddhism never pointed towards self-obsession, but towards self-responsibility. Ask yourself honestly, who benefits when you neglect yourself? Focus is not ego. Focus is discipline. It is the courage to place your attention where your life actually lives. A lamp that lights every room but its own will eventually burn out. Many people live this way, useful, available, exhausted. They confuse constant giving with goodness and wonder why peace never stays. You cannot abandon yourself and call it kindness. Look at the modern struggle. Endless demands, notifications pulling your mind apart, relationships that reward overgiving and punish boundaries, work that consumes attention without nourishing purpose. When your focus is scattered, your mind becomes reactive. You say yes when your inner voice whispered no. And slowly, you drift away from your own path. What have you postponed within you just to keep others comfortable? Now pause. Picture turning your attention inward, like a flame protected from wind. Feel how steady it becomes when it no longer has to perform. This is not withdrawal, it is alignment. When you gather your focus, your thoughts slow, your decisions sharpen. You stop explaining your choices and start respecting them. Practically, begin with one quiet act of discipline. Set a boundary without apology. Spend time daily on something that strengthens you, not impresses others. Reduce the need to be available at all times. Focus your effort on growth, not validation. Notice how life responds when your attention becomes intentional instead of reactive. Here is the unexpected truth. When you focus on yourself, relationships improve. Your presence deepens, your words carry weight. You stop seeking permission to be whole. People feel the shift, even if they cannot name it. This is right attention, the foundation of a calm, disciplined mind. So reflect gently tonight. What if self-focus is not selfish, but the beginning of peace? What kind of life emerges when you stop leaking attention and start living deliberately? In 2026, choose focus. Choose responsibility. Protect your inner flame. Remember this as you move forward. When you take responsibility for your attention, your life stops pulling you apart and begins to come together. Silence is where power collects. Most people believe power comes from being heard, from explaining, from proving. But notice this: every time you rush to speak, something subtle leaks out of you. Your calm, your certainty, your center. The Buddha observed this long ago and taught restraint of speech before restraint of desire, because words spend your energy before life has asked for it. Ask yourself quietly, where do you speak just to be seen, not because truth is required? Silence is not weakness. Silence is where power collects. When you stay silent, you stop scattering yourself. You stop negotiating your worth with the world. In that stillness, something gathers: clarity, gravity, presence. The teaching is simple, yet severe. What is restrained grows strong. Like a lake at dawn, unmoving, able to reflect the entire sky, your silence allows life to reveal itself to you without distortion. Look at modern suffering: endless opinions, constant explaining, the pressure to respond instantly, relationships strained by words that never needed to be spoken, careers slowed by emotional reactions instead of deliberate action. We talk ourselves into exhaustion. We speak from impulse, then wonder why peace feels far away. What if your next breakthrough doesn't come from saying more, but from pausing longer? Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine every unspoken word settling into your chest like a calm breath. Feel how your body softens. Feel how your attention sharpens. This is silence before strength, before disciplined action, before unshakable focus. When you stop reacting out loud, your inner voice becomes audible, and it is far wiser than your habits. Practically, begin here. In conversations, pause one breath before responding. Let silence do half the work. At work, stop announcing your plans. Let results speak later. In conflict, don't defend immediately. Watch what changes when you do not chase understanding. You will notice something unsettling at first. Fewer people control you. Fewer emotions hijack you. Your mind stands upright. There is a quiet turning point few speak about. When you stay silent long enough, people reveal themselves. Situations clarify on their own. Opportunities align without force. This is not passivity. It is strategic stillness. A focused mind wastes nothing. A silent mind sees everything. So reflect deeply tonight. Who would you become if you spoke less, but meant more? What changes when you pause instead of perform? In 2026, focus inward. Guard your words. Strengthen your silence. Build a disciplined mind with calm, positive thoughts. Remember this and carry it gently. When you stop explaining yourself and turn inward, life begins explaining itself to you. 4. When you stop explaining, life responds. Notice the quiet urge that rises when you feel misunderstood. The tightening in the chest, the need to clarify, to justify, to be seen correctly. This impulse feels natural, but it is rooted in fear. Fear that silence will make you invisible. The Buddha pointed to a deeper truth. Power does not come from being understood by everyone. It comes from being aligned within yourself. Ask gently, why do you feel the need to explain yourself? Every explanation is an attempt to control perception, and control requires effort. When you explain too much, you reveal uncertainty. When you stay silent, you conserve strength. Stillness persuades what noise never can. Mountains do not explain their height, yet they dominate the horizon. Their presence is unquestioned because it is grounded. In modern life, people explain endlessly. They defend boundaries. They justify rest. They rationalize decisions that already feel right inside. This constant self-translation weakens authority. It trains others to expect access to your reasons. But your life is not a courtroom. You do not owe clarity to those who refuse to listen. What happens if you let results speak instead? Imagine standing firm without words, rooted like stone. No tension, no argument, just steadiness. This is power without force. When you stop explaining, your energy no longer leaks into convincing others. It returns to action, to discipline, to quiet confidence. People may resist at first, but they feel the shift. Practically, begin by resisting the urge to over-clarify. Say less. Do more. Let silence hold space where explanations once lived. If a boundary is questioned, repeat it calmly, or not at all. If your path is doubted, continue walking. Over time, your consistency will answer questions you never speak aloud. Here is the reversal few expect. When you stop explaining, some people grow uncomfortable. They lose the leverage of your justification. They can no longer debate your worth or direction. Who loses power when you stop explaining? Not you. Silence reclaims it. As 2026 approaches, choose presence over performance. Let your actions mature quietly. Let your life become the answer. Build a disciplined mind that does not rush to defend itself. Calm is your authority. Focus is your statement. Carry this truth gently. When you stop explaining yourself and stand rooted in who you are, life begins responding, not to your words, but to your strength. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My focus brings everything." 5. Self-comparison is a quiet form of violence. Notice how comparison enters quietly, not as jealousy at first, but as measurement. You look sideways. You calculate your worth against someone else's progress. Slowly, the mind fractures. Buddhism teaches that suffering grows when the mind leaves its own path. A flower blooms when it is ready, yet comparison demands that you bloom on another's clock. Ask yourself honestly, who do you measure yourself against? Self-comparison is a quiet form of violence. It turns your awareness into a weapon against yourself. You begin pulling at your own roots, hoping to grow faster by watching others. But pulling another plant's roots only weakens your own. Every comparison steals something: gratitude, patience, trust in your own unfolding. What does this habit take from you each day? Look at the modern world. Highlighted successes, curated lives, silent struggles hidden behind confident faces. When you compare your behind the scenes with someone else's surface. The mind becomes restless, dissatisfied, always late. This is not motivation, it is abandonment of your own timing. Pause now. See your path unfolding at its own pace. No rush, no race. Feel the relief in that image. When you stop chasing another life, energy returns to yours. Attention sharpens, purpose stabilizes. You begin doing the work that actually belongs to you, not the work that impresses others. Practically, limit the sources that trigger comparison. Reduce exposure to narratives that rush you. Measure progress only against who you were yesterday. Ask one grounding question daily. Am I walking my path or watching someone else's? This simple check protects the mind from quiet cruelty. Here is the deeper truth. When you honor your pace, discipline becomes natural. You stop forcing outcomes. You stop envying results. You develop patience, the kind that cannot be shaken by delay or doubt. This patience is not passive. It is rooted confidence that growth is happening even when unseen. Who benefits when you doubt your timing? Not you. Comparison hands your power to illusion. Silence, focus, and self-trust bring it back. When you withdraw from measuring yourself against others, your mind becomes whole again. As 2026 approaches, walk inward. Walk steadily. Stay silent about your journey. Let your life ripen without commentary. Build a strong, disciplined mindset with calm, positive thoughts. Remember this as you move forward. When you stop comparing and honor your own season, peace stops being delayed and begins to grow exactly where you stand. 6. Value your time like a monk values dawn. Notice how easily time disappears, not stolen by crisis, but surrendered to noise, small distractions, endless conversations, busy hours that leave no inner trace. Buddhism teaches that time is not managed, it is honored. Monks rise before dawn, not only for discipline, but for reverence. Time reveals what we truly value. Ask yourself softly, where does your time quietly vanish? Time is your life in visible form. When it is fragmented, the mind fragments with it. Every hour spent in noise weakens attention. Every unnecessary commitment thins presence. Time is like incense. Once burned, it never returns. Yet most people burn it without noticing the fragrance they lose. Does your schedule reflect your values, or your habits. Look at modern days. Full calendars, empty stillness. People rush from task to task, yet feel behind their own lives. When time is treated cheaply, peace becomes rare. But when time is treated as sacred, even ordinary moments gain weight. Silence deepens, focus steadies, life slows without losing momentum. Pause here. Imagine placing today's hours intentionally, like offerings. 1 hour for growth, 1 for stillness, 1 for meaningful work. Feel the difference in your body. When time is chosen consciously, the nervous system relaxes. You stop chasing the day. You begin inhabiting it. Practically, protect the first and last hours of your day. Reduce obligations that do not nourish you. Limit access to people and platforms that drain clarity. Say no without guilt. Every refusal is a quiet yes to something more essential. What deserves more of your life? Here is the hidden shift. When you value time, discipline becomes effortless. You stop procrastinating because each moment feels alive. You no longer waste energy on what does not matter. Others may not understand your boundaries, but peace does not require permission. As 2026 approaches, live as if each hour is irreplaceable. Stay silent with your time. Focus deeply. Let your days become fewer, but fuller. Build a disciplined mind anchored in calm, positive thought. Carry this truth gently. When you honor time as sacred, life stops slipping through your hands and begins to rest fully within them. 7. Work on yourself quietly. Notice how quickly the mind wants to announce progress, a new habit, a new insight, a small victory. The urge is subtle but powerful, the need to be seen changing. Buddhism teaches a quieter path. True transformation does not perform, it ripens, roots grow in darkness. Ask yourself gently, who needs to know your progress? Invisible growth feels uncomfortable because it denies the ego its reward. There is no applause, no reassurance, only discipline and faith. Yet this is where real strength is built. The bamboo grows underground for years before it rises. No one claps for its patience, but when it emerges, it stands firm. The deepest changes make no sound. Look at how often growth is shared before it is stabilized. Promises spoken too early. Goals declared before they are embodied. When growth is announced, energy leaks into expectation. Pressure replaces presence, and the work becomes heavier. What happens if no one knows what you are building? Pause here. Feel strength forming inside without witnesses. No comparison, no explanation, just steady effort. When growth is quiet, it belongs entirely to you. There is less distraction, fewer opinions, more intimacy with the process. This silence is not secrecy, it is protection. Practically, stop narrating your journey. Reduce the urge to update others on your discipline. Let habits become automatic before they become visible. Measure progress internally, not socially. Each day, ask one honest question. Did I show up for myself today? Here is the hidden reversal. When you grow quietly, you become unshakable. Praise no longer inflates you. Criticism no longer distracts you. Your confidence is rooted, not borrowed. People sense the shift without understanding it. They feel your presence before they hear your story. As 2026 approaches, choose invisible work. Stay silent. Focus inward. Let your mind strengthen away from noise. Build a disciplined mindset with calm, positive thoughts that do not depend on recognition. Reflect deeply tonight. Can you grow without applause? Can you trust the process without witnesses? Remember this as you move forward. When you stop performing growth and start living it, your life changes quietly and permanently. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My focus brings everything." 8. Put yourself first without guilt. Notice how guilt appears the moment you choose yourself. A tightness, a whisper saying you are selfish, careless, wrong. This conditioning runs deep. Yet Buddhism never praised self-erasure. It taught alignment. Putting yourself first is not abandonment of others. It is honesty about your limits. Ask yourself quietly, where do you overextend even when your body is asking you to stop? When you ignore your limits, resentment replaces compassion. Fatigue replaces kindness. You give, but without presence. A steady mind serves best because it is not depleted. Like a well-tuned instrument, it produces pure music without strain. Sacrifice may look noble, but alignment is what sustains love over time. Look closely at guilt. It often protects expectations, not truth. It keeps you available, predictable, controllable. When you say yes out of guilt, you betray your own capacity. And each betrayal leaves a trace: tension in the body, heaviness in the heart. What does guilt really protect, and at whose expense? Pause now. Sense your boundaries forming gently, not harshly. Feel the relief in your chest when you imagine resting without apology. Boundaries are not walls. They are clarity. They tell the world how to meet you without harming you. When you honor them, your energy stabilizes. Practically, begin with small acts of self-priority. Rest before exhaustion. Decline what drains you without over-explaining. Schedule time for silence, reflection, and growth as non-negotiable. Notice how your nervous system responds when your needs are no longer an afterthought. Here is the unexpected shift. When you put yourself first, relationships become cleaner. You stop giving to be liked. You stop helping to be needed. Your presence becomes calmer, more grounded. Others feel it, not as distance, but as reliability. You show up whole, not hollow. Balance has a physical sensation. Shoulders soften. Breath deepens. The mind stops racing ahead or collapsing inward. This is not indulgence. It is equilibrium. When your inner state is steady, your actions carry wisdom instead of urgency. As 2026 approaches, release the belief that suffering makes you virtuous. Focus on yourself without guilt. Stay silent about your choices. Let balance guide your days. Build a disciplined mindset rooted in calm, positive thought. Remember this and carry it gently. When you honor yourself first, your life stops pulling you apart and begins offering your presence as something truly healing. 9. Silence rearranges power dynamics. Notice how quickly power shifts when you stop reacting. Not with anger, not with withdrawal, just with silence. The Buddha understood that reaction is a form of surrender. Each emotional response hands the situation to someone else. When you pause instead, the current changes. Ask yourself quietly, who benefits from your reactions? Silence rearranges power dynamics because it removes hooks. Those who relied on your explanations, your emotions, your urgency, suddenly find nothing to pull. Still, water cannot be grabbed. The mind that does not react becomes unmovable, not rigid, but free. Look at everyday conflict, a comment meant to provoke, a message designed to demand attention. When you react, you confirm the invitation. When you remain silent, the game collapses. Smoke cannot be held, yet it fills the room. Your calm detachment spreads without effort. Others adjust because they must. Pause now. Feel calm detachment, like open space around you. There is room to breathe, room to choose. This space is authority, not dominance, not control, quiet clarity. When you are not pulled by emotion, your actions become precise. Your words become rare, but heavy with meaning. Practically, stop feeding situations that drain you. Delay responses. Let emotions settle before you speak, if you speak at all. Observe how often silence resolves what arguments never could. This is not avoidance. It is wisdom applied in real time. Here is the reversal few expect. When you withdraw reactions, some relationships change, some weaken, some end. This is not loss, it is revelation. Silence exposes who thrived on your emotional availability. Who loses control when you stop reacting? The answer is instructive. As 2026 approaches, make silence your shield. Focus inward, protect your attention. Build a disciplined mind anchored in calm, positive thought. You do not need to announce this change. Let it be felt. Power that needs noise is fragile. Power that rests in silence is enduring. Remember this as you move forward. When you stop reacting and stay centered, life reorganizes itself around your calm, and nothing can easily disturb you. 10. Inner alignment ends outer struggle. Notice how struggle increases the more you try to force life. Pushing outcomes, chasing approval, holding yourself to paths that no longer fit. Buddhism teaches that conflict outside is often resistance inside. Life resists when you resist yourself. Ask gently, where are you forcing outcomes instead of listening inward? Inner alignment is quiet, but unmistakable. When your values guide your actions, effort becomes effortless. Aligned things move naturally. Like a river, life flows fastest where it meets no resistance. When you fight your own truth, everything feels heavy. When you honor it, momentum returns without strain. Look closely at misalignment. Saying yes while your body says no. Working without meaning. Speaking without belief. Each contradiction drains energy. You wonder why progress feels slow, why peace feels distant. It is not a lack of effort. It is effort pointed in the wrong direction. What feels misaligned right now? Pause here. Breathe into alignment. Let thought, word, and action settle into one direction. Feel how tension loosens when you imagine living from a single center. Alignment does not require perfection. It requires honesty, the courage to stop pretending, the discipline to choose clarity over comfort. Practically, begin aligning one decision at a time. Before acting, ask, does this reflect what I value or what I fear? Simplify commitments. Remove what feels performative. Strengthen habits that feel grounding rather than draining. Each aligned choice reduces friction in your life. Here is the subtle turning point. When you align inwardly, external struggle fades, not because challenges vanish, but because you stop fighting yourself while facing them. People respond differently. Opportunities appear without pursuit. Silence becomes natural. Focus deepens. This is flow, not luck, not passivity, but cooperation with reality. As 2026 approaches, stop forcing life to make sense. Focus on yourself. Stay silent long enough to hear your inner direction. Build a disciplined mind, anchored in calm, positive thought. Let your life move from alignment, not anxiety. Reflect deeply tonight. What eases when you let go? What opens when you stop resisting who you are? Remember this as you move forward. When your inner world aligns, the outer struggle ends, and life begins moving with you instead of against you. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My focus brings everything." 11. Focus makes you unshakable. Notice what shakes you most. A message, a look, a sudden change in plans. The mind moves outward instantly, pulled by noise. Buddhism teaches that disturbance does not come from events, it comes from scattered attention. A focused mind is not easily disturbed because it lives within itself. What is anchored does not drift. Ask yourself quietly, where is your anchor? When attention is unstable, everything has authority over you. Opinions decide your mood. Circumstances dictate your peace. You react before you choose. But focus changes this completely. When your attention stays within, external chaos loses its grip. You still feel life, but it no longer throws you around. Look at the modern condition. Constant alerts, endless comparisons, emotional turbulence mistaken for engagement. The mind jumps from one trigger to the next, exhausted yet restless. This is not sensitivity, it is disconnection from center. Without focus, even small waves feel like storms. Now pause, sense your center, heavy, calm, grounded, not tense, not rigid, just present. Like an anchored boat, you remain steady while the water moves around you. Focus does not stop storms, it allows you to survive them without damage. How does focus feel in silence? Practically, build focus by reducing decision fatigue. Simplify your environment. Choose fewer priorities and give them full attention. Return to the breath when the mind scatters. Stop multitasking your life. Each act of focus strengthens your inner spine. Here is the deeper truth. Focus is emotional protection. When your attention is clear, provocations fail. Drama fades. People sense your steadiness and approach differently. You do not need to dominate situations. Your calm already sets the tone. This is unshakable presence. Many seek strength by controlling others. Buddhism points inward. Control your attention, and nothing controls you. The more focused you become, the less reactive you are. The less reactive you are, the more freedom you experience. As 2026 approaches, train your focus quietly. Stay silent. Guard your attention. Build a disciplined mind rooted in calm, positive thought. Let chaos pass through without taking residence. Reflect tonight. What shakes you most and why? What changes when you anchor within instead of chasing stability outside? Remember this as you move forward. When focus becomes your home, no storm can take it away from you. Bonus lesson: when you choose yourself, life chooses you. Notice what you are chasing: approval, timing, certainty. The feeling that life will finally meet you halfway. Buddhism points to a quieter truth. Life does not respond to pursuit, it responds to alignment. When you beg externally, you scatter yourself. When you choose yourself internally, something shifts. Ask gently, what happens if you stop chasing? When you choose yourself, you stop negotiating your worth. You stop explaining your needs. You stop asking life to confirm what you already know. This is not arrogance, it is self-respect. What you honor within calls itself back. The moment you stand rooted in your values, life begins moving differently around you. Look back honestly. How much energy has been spent knocking on doors that never opened, seeking attention from people who stayed unavailable, forcing paths that resisted every step? Doors open to those who stop knocking loudly. When you fall silent, you hear which doors were never meant for you. Oars here. Feel life moving toward you, not away. There is relief in this image. No strain, no chase. When you choose yourself, your nervous system settles, your decisions become cleaner, your presence becomes grounded. You are no longer trying to be chosen. You are becoming someone aligned. Practically, choose yourself through quiet actions. Keep promises to yourself. Walk away from what drains you without drama. Invest time where growth feels steady, not chaotic. Stop seeking permission to live according to your limits. Each act of self-respect recalibrates your relationship with life. Here is the subtle turning point. When you stop begging for outcomes, opportunities arise naturally. People meet you with more respect. Work flows with less friction. Not because you demanded change, but because you changed your position. Life mirrors the way you treat yourself. Silence plays a role here. In silence, you stop advertising your hunger. You stop revealing your doubt. You let your energy consolidate. In that stillness, your direction sharpens. Who are you becoming in silence? Someone calmer, someone disciplined, someone no longer desperate for signs. As 2026 approaches, choose yourself without announcement. Focus inward. Stay silent long enough for alignment to settle. Build a strong, disciplined mindset with calm, positive thought. Let life come to you, not because you chased it, but because you finally stood still. Carry this truth with you. When you stop asking life to choose you and begin honoring yourself, life has no choice but to respond. Quick summary. Silence is where power collects. Silence prevents emotional leakage and preserves inner stability. Speaking less strengthens awareness and self-control. Restraint of speech creates mental clarity. Inner authority grows when words are chosen, not wasted. Focus is not selfish. It is self-responsibility. Self-focus is disciplined attention, not ego. Neglecting yourself leads to resentment and imbalance. Buddhism teaches right attention before service to others. A centered self serves the world more effectively. Attention is your most expensive currency. Every reaction drains mental and emotional energy. Comparison and explanation weaken inner peace. Where attention goes, power follows. Reclaiming attention restores calm and direction. When you stop explaining, life responds. Explaining comes from fear of judgment. Silence reduces conflict without confrontation. Results replace justification. Inner confidence replaces the need for validation. Self-comparison is a quiet form of violence. Comparison disrupts self-trust. Each person follows a unique inner timing. Measuring yourself against others creates dissatisfaction. Peace begins when comparison ends. Value your time like a sacred resource. Time reflects true priorities. Distraction fragments life force. Intentional living begins with intentional time use. Peace grows when time is respected. Work on yourself. Quietly. Real growth does not seek attention. Public validation weakens internal discipline. Consistency matters more than recognition. Silent effort builds lasting strength. Put yourself first. Without guilt. Self-priority is not abandonment of others. Burnout comes from ignoring limits. Balanced care sustains long-term clarity. Healthy boundaries create stable relationships. Silence rearranges power. Dynamics, reactivity gives others control. Silence removes emotional hooks. Calm presence shifts relationships naturally. Power increases when reactions decrease. Inner alignment ends. Outer struggle. Resistance creates suffering. Alignment reduces unnecessary effort. Clarity guides action without force. Life flows when inner conflict dissolves. Focus makes you unshakable. A focused mind resists distraction. External chaos loses influence. Inner stability increases resilience. Calm becomes a permanent state. Bonus: when you choose yourself, life chooses you. Self-respect reshapes reality. Life mirrors internal standards. Chasing ends when alignment begins. Peace attracts opportunity naturally. Zen philosophy teaches that the mind becomes clear not by adding effort, but by removing noise. Silence strengthens you. Focus protects you. When you stop scattering your energy, life begins to cooperate instead of resist. In 2026, choose inward discipline over outward approval. Choose stillness over reaction. Choose yourself without guilt, without explanation. To master the self is the greatest victory. Reflect on this today. What would shift in your life if you guarded your attention as carefully as you guard your future? If this message resonated with you, like and share this video. Share your thoughts in the comment box and subscribe to Deep Wisdom for more inspiring Buddhist insights on living a peaceful, centered life. Bonus: when you choose yourself, life chooses you. Self-respect reshapes reality. Life mirrors internal standards. Chasing ends when alignment begins. Peace attracts opportunity naturally. Zen philosophy teaches that the mind becomes clear not by adding effort, but by removing noise. Silence strengthens you. Focus protects you. When you stop scattering your energy, life begins to cooperate instead of resist. In 2026, choose inward discipline over outward approval. Choose stillness over reaction. Choose yourself without guilt, without explanation. To master the self is the greatest victory. Reflect on this today. What would shift in your life if you guarded your attention as carefully as you guard your future? If this message resonated with you, like and share this video. Share your thoughts in the comment box.